In this video, I'm going to show you a very specific technique that is common across dance styles and a lot of other kinds of electronic music, and that is sidechain compression. So what sidechain compression is when you use one track to trigger a compressor on another track. So in this case, if I go to the pads group, you'll see that there are several devices on this group track. I have a regular compressor and a glue compressor, just applying compression, a limiter to make sure I don't peak out on the track, an EQ to eliminate some of the low frequency energy, and then the sidechain compressor. So normally, when the sidechain is not active, the audio from the track is what's triggering the compressor. And then, if you have makeup gain, it will even out that volume level of the track. In this case, the sidechain is turned on. Now I got this by clicking on this triangle. Normally the compressor comes up looking like that. If you click on the triangle, it opens up the sidechain section, and then you can turn the sidechain on by clicking the word sidechain, and then you have to select your source. So over here in my drums group, I have one track called Impact Kick, and it sounds like this. And that's all it does. It's just a straight out 4 on the floor kick, but it has a lot of low end energy and boom to it. So over in my pads track on that sidechain compressor, in addition to selecting that in the audio from box, Impact Kick, I'm going to add this EQ on. And what this is going to do is allow me to filter out that lowest frequency information and just focus on the tight, punchy part of the kick. Now over here, I have the standard controls, ratio, attack, and release, and I have my threshold control here. If I were to play a scene, maybe I'll get one with a lot of tracks in it, like scene 11, what you're going to hear is the pads sort of ducking in volume level or lowering their volume level every time that kick drum hits. Let's take a listen. If I click these headphones, we'll hear the source of the sidechain compression. If I turn the EQ off, you'll see what it would sound like if we didn't have the EQ as part of it. So maybe you can see why I'm using this EQ filter, because if I was depending on that booming sound to trigger my compressor, it would be a lot less accurate. It would last longer. That's not something I'm interested in. So I just want the thwacky part of the kick drum, and I don't want a huge effect. So I'm going to go back to my original settings here, and I just want a gentle pumping sound in the pads. And the reason you would do this is because on the dance floor, the kick is like the most important instrument. It's what's compelling the dancers, right, to keep dancing, is that driving kick. And so this is a way for the kick to stick out in the mix without having to be crazy loud. Because if everything else in the mix is ducking down every time the kick hits, then the kick will cut through. I've also put this same sidechain compression over on my bass tracks. And then anytime that impact kick is not present, that sidechaining stops. So this scene has no sidechain compression. If I wanted it, I suppose I could trigger it individually. But turning the sidechain compression on and off is another way to add variation to your set. I've also put sidechain compression on my ARPs. And you can see it working there. Now, I did not put sidechain compression on my vocals or on this saw lead. I do want those to stick out, especially with the vocals. I don't want to lose the edge, like the beginning of a note, because that's usually where the consonant is. And so if I were to duck that down, it would be harder to understand the vocals. But that's sidechain compression. And again, the way to set that up is to just add a standard compressor, open up the triangle, turn the sidechain on, select whatever track you want to be the source. This is why I recommend keeping at least one track with just a kick drum and nothing else on it. You don't even have to use it. I could turn the track all the way down or mute it, and the effect would still happen. It would still be delivering sound to that plugin, especially if you went pre-effects or post-effects, but not post-mixer. If you go post-mixer, then if you mute the track, it'll mute it here and it won't have an effect. But that's sidechain compression. Use it liberally.